Yo. Hey. Can you hear me? You listening to
WAW. What a week.
What a week.
Welcome to WOW What a Week on the African Podcast Network. We're available on Spotify and all other platforms.
This is
Wow!
What a Week.
What a week. You can't make this shit up.
Thank you for joining us once again. Some of you may have seen the SABC finally has a brand new board. Maybe I should submit my CV. Maybe it's too early for it. I think they're still upset about Musuneri, so maybe I won't. Anyway, on the note of a range of people, we've also got a relatively new list of interviewees today, so let's get going. Our first guest for You Can't Make This Shit Up, he's lived in a range of places and performed in some interesting locations and won a range of awards as well. Quite the jet setter and a biker. And he looks it too. Please give a wow welcome to Loyiso Gola.
Yay!
What's up, Loy?
I'm good.
Welcome to WOW What a Week.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You cycled here.
Yeah.
Tell us about the cycling lifestyle that has become an integral part of your life.
I don't know. I just don't want to die of a heart attack at 50.
But what about of a taxi or a truck?
Actually, they're very courteous.
Are you for real?
Yeah, taxis are very courteous. I mean, also, I don't, it depends the people that I'm concerned about the most is if I cycle like on a Saturday morning and the people who are coming from Groove from Friday. So you slept over at a shorty's house or whatever.
Yes.
And then the person's still drunk.
Yes.
Right? Because they slept at 5 and now it's like 9. You know what I mean? So those are the most dangerous because they're still drunk from last night and they don't have the concentration and they haven't slept. So those are the people I'm scared of more than taxi drivers. Taxi drivers, for the most part, sleep.
I've actually argued it a lot that the person most likely to give you a right of way or to allow you to squeeze in is actually a taxi driver.
Yeah.
Other drivers are very selfish.
Yeah. Most drivers have no sense of courtesy.
Yeah.
But I mean, taxi. You know what's the worst thing for cyclists? Actually, like because you usually cycle on the closer to the pavement.
Oh yes.
So people who don't cut off their branches.
Oh yes.
The branches that's why I have.
So do you sometimes ride the bike? I
try to go around it. Also, potholes are bad.
Yes.
Because if a pothole is close to the pavement, I have to go into the road.
Oh yes, and a car might be.
And a car might be there. So it's and also for me, I used to cycle at night as well, which was great. And now I can't because you can't see the potholes.
But don't you have a little like a little lamp thing?
Yeah, because it only shows you like right in front of you.
Yes.
It doesn't like give you a full scope because potholes sometimes they creep up on you. You know what I mean? Like it's very. So for me, I don't cycle at night anymore, and but I generally cycle everywhere.
You've lived, in fact, you live a lot in London.
Yes.
And in fact, I was at your show this past week, and you speak a lot about London. So places like London, in fact, Europe generally,
right,
are very cyclist friendly.
Right.
Is that where you picked up this?
No, I think.
Cycling.
Actually, Johannesburg, before like a full-blown group areas act vibe, Joburg had the most bicycles in the world.
Jeez.
You gotta Google that. It's actually there's a picture of the city of Johannesburg and black people are in the city and they're all cycling. And then what happened was people were moved. Now I can't cycle every day from Soweto to town.
Yes.
And that kind of broke that culture. That culture. But I think sometimes I look at politicians and their ideology. I remember the city of Joburg was putting all these bike lanes in the city, and the EFF, particularly Julius, was like, "This is a white idea." I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's the simplest way to transport yourself."
Yes.
It's literally
you become self-sufficient.
Right. It was like, "Oh no, this thing is only for white people," and So for me, I was really disappointed at that kind of ideology. I was like, nah, man, people can.
Our uncles used to cycle in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. Yep. So for me, ideologically, we might have a clash on that particular issue.
Actually, one of the reasons there were so many, especially black men on bicycles back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, is because if you worked at the mine, often you were given a bicycle.
Yeah.
As a bonus or as a Christmas.
Right.
You know, and I had an uncle who lived in Yellville in the 60s and moved to Dube, Soweto.
Right.
And I remember when he came home, I was still a child.
Right.
He came back with a pair of shorts and a bicycle.
Oh, that's fine.
That's what he had to show for.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, man.
It was wild.
Yeah, but like even the idea of transport, it's bizarre because transportation is a big part of an economy. So every time I see these dudes talking about growing the economy, I'm like, all the things that grow the economy don't work.
Yes.
The internet is slow and expensive. The electricity doesn't work, so I can't function.
Mobility is everything.
Mobility, because all in the economy is moving goods and people and human
Absolutely.
beings. So
Absolutely.
if a kid is in Katlehong, can't get to Soweto at 9 o'clock in the evening efficiently, what are we talking about? If the Gautrain doesn't connect Soweto to Pretoria, then what are we talking? Like,
Yes.
you understand what I'm saying? What if it doesn't connect Soweto to the airport?
Yeah.
What you know what I mean? What are we talking there? What are we discussing here? So transportation is the ability to move efficiently is top of the agenda.
Absolutely.
Even like when Minister Fikile Mbalula was Minister of Transport, and he was talking about Uber, and he is saying that now Uber has given people, even celebrities who are doing bad, some dignity because now they can get into a car. I remember that comment and going, oh man, and you the guy in charge of our transportation. So like all these dudes have a very like warped idea of what it means.
Also, isn't it problematic that we've almost made owning a car a priority when in a lot of economies people are not in a hurry to buy a car because the train works, the bus works.
Yeah.
I don't need a car.
Yeah.
And the 3, 4, 5,000 rand a month I could be spending on a car, I'm spending 2 grand on transport the whole month.
Yes.
So I'm actually making 3 grand.
Yes.
I don't own a car.
You know what's so crazy? When I was young in Cape Town, like, because the trains used to work, we used to go to Kailicha, hang out like for the day, and then the next like at 3 o'clock, by 5 p.m. we were in Kalk Bay or something.
Yes.
So we had like this very vast experience of the city. Like if you ever go, like people who go to Cape Town with me and hang out with me in Cape Town, they they experience a totally different Cape Town to Camps Bay and Town or whatever, because Cape Town is quite vast.
Sure.
And because when I was young, I had the transportation to move around. And I lived there. I have a very like vast, but now kids are in Ubers. We used to take a bus. We used to party. Ready used to throw these parties at the Jam or just off Roland Street. And we used to take a bus at 11, me and my friends, like 10:30, and the bus would pick all of us up. And you know what I mean? There were no cell phones. We all catching the last bus.
But you networked.
Yeah. And then you get there. By the time you get to the party, there's like a whole bunch of, you know what I mean? Boys and girls, teenagers, just.
Yeah.
And so I always go, man, kids don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even think maybe it's a safety issue, but it's also like a infrastructure issue.
Now, speaking of kids, I mean, you started your comedy career as a kid.
Yes.
You're about to turn 40, and you were at Metro FM this week on with Sabi.
Yeah.
And your first interview at Metro, you were probably 2021. So 20 years ago, you were at Metro with Glenn Lewis. This week, you were on Metro with Sabi.
Yeah.
How much of a mind fuck is it that comedy has sustained you for so long?
I think, you know what's crazy about stand-up is that I really like it. Like if you watch the way I construct jokes, I really love the idea of telling jokes, and I apply myself, and I've always applied myself. And there's a lot of things that have happened in my life and just in my career about how I move and my trajectory, but I've always done stand-up.
Yeah.
And so for me, that level of consistency with stand-up will always reward you, especially if you're good at it. People will be, and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So a person would start off with stand-up and become a massive movie star.
Sure.
and then they just never, and then like stand-up becomes a side gig, and then you go, oh no, you're not gonna sustain, like, because the movie thing, when that movie thing is gone, and it's happened, some of the biggest movies, even in South Africa, guys who start off doing stand-up, and they just, I'm not saying people shouldn't do other things, I'm just saying that,
But don't
the thing that
forget.
will really reward you is the thing that people really know you for.
Yes.
That's my personal philosophy, and that's my personal experience. So when I'm there, I came here telling Glenn how I started doing jokes, and now it's like 20 years later, and I'm like, oh no, I still do jokes. So it's you know, so that's what it is. I don't really go with the flow of waves, and I just do what I want to do consistently. I just try to, like, you know, produce stand-up all the time. I'm obsessed with stand-up. That's the thing. I'm really, really, really obsessed with stand-up.
You have a brand new show. I went on Monday.
Yes. Thank you for coming.
I
appreciate
laughed.
it.
I laughed very hard.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, I laughed very hard. You talk about, I'm about to turn 40.
Yeah.
What about 40? Are you looking forward to, or are you not looking forward to?
I think like
Let me tell you why I'm asking the question.
Okay.
Because you're giving me vibes of the uncle who's turning 60 and doesn't care anymore, but you're doing it at 40.
because you have to prepare yourself, right? Because there's so much, like the world is changing so much, and, it's happening through popular culture, and that's the idea of the show.
Yeah.
Like, I'm this dude who's 40 years old, and the culture, which is popular, is run by people in their 20s. So there's a big disconnect, and you're trying to connect because you don't want to get left behind. Even if you're a doctor who's been practicing since the 60s, you got to keep up with the technology. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that. So for me, it's not scary, but I'm enjoying the mishaps that I'm experiencing. Where I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's a gender. Okay, cool, let's go. You know what I mean? I you know, all those things. I'm navigating stuff that is ever changing. I'm like, now we're talking about how AI just made a song.
Yes.
How crazy is that? And everyone is navigating that, but a person who's like, okay, think about it this way. Sorry.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. When I was younger, I'm gonna speak for myself.
Yeah.
The internet was a thing, right? So the internet was outside of life.
Yeah.
And so you'd go, I'm gonna go experience the internet. Right, like for me to get directions to come here, I needed the internet.
Yes.
You need the internet pretty much for everything, right? But a person who's born like maybe 20 years ago, the internet is everything to them.
Yes.
So those are two different worlds. A person who sees the internet as a thing, and a person who sees the internet as everything. Those brains operate very differently. So I'm a person who sees the internet as a thing, engaging with people who experience the internet as everything.
Yes.
Music, directions, advice on finances. It's all online. So it's a crazy thing for me.
So one of the big stories this week, obviously, is the Drake Future AI tune,
Right.
which Spotify and Apple have since pulled.
Right.
If I was to AI Loyiso comedy,
Right.
would you want it pulled, or would you rather we keep it up there but you make the money?
I think the likeness is a specifically music legal thing, right? Like, I don't think it applies even now. Even if you took my voice and jokes, I don't have legal grounds. You'd be probably condemned by the internet, but you do have the legal grounds to do it, right? So it's a tricky one for me. I don't know, but I do think that it's interesting. Listen, Spotify has no foot. Spotify has literally dug into the pockets of artists.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah, so I don't really, jump on the side of Spotify. They're getting sued. They're gonna pay. They just got. I think this rap group. I think it's the Arsonist. They just got sued, and Spotify just lost this case. And the case is about they gave record companies. I don't. Was it 5% of Spotify?
Yeah.
To pay, you know what I mean? Like, I forgot the particulars of the case, but it's like something like scandalous. So it's like, yo, dude, you can't do that. So they've just lost the case, and they owe like the artists, the record labels, and Spotify owe people like billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So for me, Spotify can go jump as an idea.
Speaking music, Black Thought dropped a new album this week. I know you're a fan.
I'm a fan, yeah. You're a big fan.
Your thoughts?
Oh man, it's so crazy. I've heard the album in passing, but I haven't really sat down and listened. It's been a busy week because I've been doing the show as well.
Yes.
So I haven't had the time to like sit back and actually like consume it. But he's been dropping an album every year for the last 4 years, and I think this could be the best one. So I don't want to say that out loud until I've heard it properly. I'm that's first draft of my opinion on the album now.
Okay, so we'll get a proper review once you've heard the album.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the big stories, DeLille axes dysfunctional SA Tourism Board. The board, which was legally compelled to hold 4 meetings a year, met 37 times from the 1st of April 2022 to the 2nd of March 2023 at a cost of 2.7 million rand, according to Kumalo. A total of 11 board meetings were held from the 1st of September 2022 to the 27th of October 2022, while another 10 were held during January and February this year. It must be nice though. Because, I mean, a board meeting, like they're saying, you're supposed to meet every quarter. But these guys are meeting and you get paid for every board meeting.
Listen, I'll tell you this. Most meetings should last 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Most meetings, 7 minutes is too long even.
Yeah.
So what do you want?
Yes.
Stop asking me about my kids. My kids don't care. You know, don't make small talk. Get to it. You know what I'm saying? What are we? Cool. And for me, in the time of Zoom, I don't know why board meetings are this frequent with these guys.
You know, because you get paid for every board meeting. It becomes a source of income. And a reason to walk away from your other job just for the day. And to discuss R1 billion for Tottenham Hotspur or not.
Tottenham Hotspurs are in total shambles. And listen, they would have gotten their value out of Tottenham. But I don't know. I gotta... Yeah, listen, and Patricia, just break that thing up. Fire everybody, fire the tea lady as well. Why are you serving tea to these people? No, I don't know. Fire everyone, I don't care. I actually don't care. I do think, though, we have no business inviting people to South Africa and calling it a world-class country with potholes bigger than the size of the Kimberley Hole.
And then you can't even cycle, you know.
Yeah,
you're trying to save the planet and grow your legs. Clear.
I'm not trying to save the planet. I don't care about the planet. Like, I genuinely don't care about the planet.
Yeah.
I'm like, my contribution to saving the planet it has to start with the guys who are doing the most, like the petroleum companies and the oil companies. Then we can start talking about involving me.
So until they give a damn.
Yeah, no. You can't involve me when there's people doing other crazy things. Why am I involved? Leave me out of this.
So actress Jennifer Aniston says she wishes we could laugh more at ourselves rather than having to police every word in comedies. In fact, she says comedy is suffering because everybody's sensitive now.
No, comedy's not suffering. I think it's a gross exaggeration. I think people...
Is it posting what you feel that is suffering versus comedy suffering?
Listen, first of all, you're allowed to think crazy things. You're allowed to think crazy shit.
Yeah. Just
keep it in your WhatsApp group.
Sure.
Like, there's no need for you to tell us on Twitter your crazy fucking ideas. I don't understand this oversharing of... I have WhatsApp groups where I say crazy shit.
In fact, there are people I'm sure you want to kill even, but you don't want to say it in public.
Why would you? I just don't understand this idea of wanting to publish every thought.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, so for me, the crazy idea thing, the thing about stand-up, it has no qualifications.
Sure.
You don't go through a program or this or go a degree.
It's personal.
No. The entry point is so low. So it's not, you can't.
Oh, so it's like podcasting. Comedy and podcasting, anyone can do it.
Yeah, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
So the problem is, so it's hard to police that kind of thing, right? So what's going to happen is I can't say that I can't say that comedians should be able to say anything they want to say, because anybody could be a comedian. It doesn't require special skills or qualifications. You know what I mean? So you can wake up tomorrow and say, I'm a comedian, therefore I'm allowed to say. So it's a reasonable idea of wanting to police shit, because people get to fucking just say whatever the fuck they want to say on stage. Then we should have another layer of a conversation of like, okay, cool, should human beings generally just be allowed to say whatever the fuck they want to say, you know? But I don't think comedy is attack. I think people who care about comedy apply themselves in thinking about what they're gonna say, and that, and things are fine.
And people go to these shows knowing exactly what to expect. I'm going to a comedy show expecting, one, that this person is going to speak their mind.
Yes.
And two, I'm not some proxy that's going to take offense on behalf of whatever group even.
Yes, but also this idea that, like someone tweeted yesterday, I had to be like, yo, man, the world is not designed to just mollycoddle you. But he is saying he doesn't like going to funerals because they trigger him. Nobody likes going to fucking funerals. What the fuck are you talking about? We all dust ourselves and we go pay our respect. It's hard. It's like,
and who was Barry Uncle if you're not going to go?
You know what I mean? Like, so people have had this idea that life is soft and life is, and people are like, yo, this soft life shit, and it's like the worst ideology ever, because life happens and life can go either way.
Dude, we used to drink stuff laced with MSG and we're still fine.
Dog, we used to drink asbestos. What are you talking about?
Dude, living in an asbestos house and you were still fine.
You know what I'm saying? And people won't tell us about recycling. What is more recycling than having a handkerchief? You used to blow your nose and put the shit back in your pocket, and then use it again.
Yeah.
Tell me about recycling. We've been on this shit. So, yeah, I don't know.
In your new show, you talk about Gen Zs and how everybody's sensitive, how everyone is always triggered, how everyone talks about my mental health this, mental health that.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Well, like I'm saying, I'm navigating it as opposed to being opposed to it.
Yes.
Right? So I'm like, hi, what?
You're learning to live with it.
I'm learning because that's, I think
That's where we are right now.
Right, that's where we are, and this is how the world's moving, and all these corporations are kind of, there's a big debate happening, and I haven't chosen a side on the debate. I'm taking all arguments.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, what are you guys saying? I don't know what the final conclusion, I don't know how I'm going to conclude this whole engagement, but I know that I'm listening to everyone, and I'm hearing all sides of the story.
All right, sound like a politician, but okay.
I am though, but I really am. That's how I think. It's like even if someone is a murderer, and I'm always sympathetic, right? I'm like, there's something that happened to this person, and they were unable to deal with it that leads us to this point. It doesn't matter who it is.
There's a side to every story.
Yeah, and so like sometimes I might not hear the story, but I know there is a story, and the story is 9 out of 10 times a dark one, and I'm sympathetic towards that. And it's hard to explain to someone why I'll be sympathetic to some person who's murder.
I often argue that we are so quick to want to silence people such that there's only one view that prevails, versus every view should be allowed a space in the sun so that we can all make up our minds. And often we're quick to say, no, Loyiso must be silenced for whatever reason. But what if what Loyiso thinks is what 7 billion other people think? But we want to silence him because it makes me triggered.
I try to not speak on those things on the internet, like, because they, like now I'm going, you know what I mean? I have a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
I discuss this thing in a WhatsApp group.
How do I get into this WhatsApp group?
No. I have multiple WhatsApp groups. And so the thing about it is like, I don't have to publish every thought of mine.
Yeah.
And so I have thoughts on that issue, and I'm like, I'm not going to engage that issue because I will be bullied.
Yeah.
And then I won't,
You have been bullied on social media before.
Yeah, but I also take accountability for that because I had a very aggressive energy on the internet, and so my energy was, so people were trying to match my energy.
Yeah.
And as soon as I gave it 2 years, I was like, I'm gonna really sort of cleanse my energy on the internet, and my energy on the internet has changed.
Do you miss old Twitter Loyiso?
No, I don't, because I get those kind of chats and talk and that abrasiveness were also smothered with insecurities.
Yeah.
And so you have this platform to show macho-ness and gusto, but you know, deep inside you're like, oh, I'm insecure about a particular thing.
Yes.
And now I'm projecting it, but then I don't experience it on my lonesome. I'm publishing it. So which is like, nah, I don't miss that.
What have you made peace with about yourself, given that maybe younger Loyiso had insecurities?
What have I made peace with?
Also with 40 around the corner and realizing that, geez, I'm almost at the end of my tether.
You know, I'm very far from the end of my
Dude, they call 40, 50 midlife. No, it's not midlife. Midlife is probably like 20, 30.
40 is...
We're getting to the end, my man.
No, I think I've got like another 30 years in me.
Yeah.
Which I'm probably going to use. I haven't thought of that. I haven't thought of what what have I learned to live with? I have learned to live with not being understood sometimes. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter. Like, I was so obsessed with being understood. Now I'm like, I don't give a shit if you don't understand. And did you, not even aggressively, just like, man.
Did you often find that you had to overcompensate or over-explain yourself because you wanted to be understood?
Of course, yeah.
Versus you must fit in or fuck off.
Well, now I just, you know, I say what I say, and I don't allow rebuttals or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is how I think or view things, and I don't really want to debate it with a stranger. I've got a WhatsApp group. I've got a WhatsApp group, and we engage. We engage thoroughly. Why am I talking to you? What? No, you just a dude who got to Joburg last week. You from Hammanskraal. We have two different experiences. I don't want to hear your experience. I don't care. Leave me alone. I've got friends.
And you viewing my life through your lens of experience.
Yeah.
Obviously, there will be a disconnect or a broken telephone.
Right. So while we chatting, leave me alone. So I've also assumed that position. Why am I talking to you? It's a very smug point of view, but I like it.
And when you're about 40, you're allowed to get
I'm allowed to be smug.
Now, one of the things you mentioned in your new show is about how, you know, if you got a rant for every time someone spoke about your height, you'd make a ton of money.
It's crazy. Like, what was the running joke when I walked into the studio? Everyone was commenting about my height. And I'm like, think of me as a hot girl.
Yeah.
I know, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, hot, like I know.
I live up here.
You gotta tell me that shit on every fucking day, whether I'm... Oh my God.
He even knows how to say it in Setswana.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just like, yo, fuck, bro. Shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear this shit.
Moses Gibson is a 41-year-old dude, and he wanted to make himself taller. He went to a spiritual healer that failed, and now he spent about 3 million rand lengthening his legs. What would you fix if budget was not a problem?
I don't know. I think like all the things that, like when I was young, like I still break out, and it's weird because I'm an adult, you know.
Yeah.
But since I've broken out, like my skin breaks out, and it breaks out like very sporadically. And when I was in my 20s and when I was a teenager, it really used to bug me. And the crazy thing about it is that clinical research shows that a lot of teenagers, they go through body dysmorphia and very hectic insecurities about themselves. So if you talk to anybody, they'll tell you there was a phase in their lives. And so that's why, you know, now people are realizing it's a bit dangerous to really transition everyone who feels a bit uncomfortable about their body.
It could be a moment.
It could just be
fleeting.
Right, it could be, you know, it's not necessarily, but now people have been given an option and a channel instead of just being like, oh, no, this is, so I used to feel very uncomfortable about my body as a teenager, but then I was always constantly breaking out. But then when I got like in my 30s, I was like, oh, this doesn't stop my life.
Yes.
Like this thing doesn't.
I'm here.
I do most of the shit that I want to do, and it really doesn't really it's not prohibitive.
like me, were you that kid that couldn't wait to grow into thy head?
Oh, definitely. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. People don't know that struggle. It's crazy.
People didn't understand on some, when am I going to
Grow into this head.
into this head?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's not heavy, but
I used to get teased about that. You see what I mean? Like it's, and then the kids are also mean. They're insensitive to that.
Yeah.
To that issue. And yeah. Oh, that one is. But I grew into my head thoroughly. I think I must have been 20.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was just like this lanky. kid.
You know, an lollipop.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing you did this week, you went to the movies. What did you watch?
I watched Creed. It was great.
Yeah.
I haven't actually watched Rocky, a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the.
You haven't seen the original Rocky?
I did, but it was a long time ago.
Okay.
A very long time ago. I think I was even in primary school or some shit when I saw that. So I actually need to. I didn't watch Apollo Creed, so I just jumped into this one. It was great. If you're looking for something to watch this weekend, go watch that. I liked it. It was gritty, and it was I don't know. Like I don't remove. The way when I really get in depth with. The way I get in depth with rap music is not the same way. Movies, I just go, I enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it.
Okay, so basically it's an escape, and then when the movie's over, you're done, you're moving on.
Yeah, because I went to watch the movie with Akino Motoso and Kagiso Vedir.
Young name drop, yeah.
Yeah, I mean those are my friends. What am I gonna do? So we went to go watch the movie, and they were dissecting it and talking about, and I just went,
because they're movie directors.
They're both movie makers,
yes.
And so it's interesting sometimes to hear the things that they see. I'm like, I didn't even see that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So what of the camera shot?
But here's the interesting. I've started developing things like TV ideas that are in the process of being pitched, and I realize that I just think of something and I go, as opposed to I don't have these where someone's like, who's your protagonist? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh yes.
You know what I mean?
So your ideas are not from a movie maker.
They're not. No. So they very like these crazy things, and then the people ask you these questions, and you go, I don't know what that is.
Yes.
All I know is that this person's gonna kill this person.
So there's the tension.
Yeah, and I'm like,
There's the conflict. You're like, I just want to make a movie, guys.
Right. And so you need those things.
Yes.
But I don't want to start creating from that point of view. You know what I mean? And it's also when I do stand up, I go, do I find this thing good first? Is this an interesting idea?
Sure.
And then I kind of, work backwards almost.
Brand new show. Where do we find you, Loyiso?
Theatre on the Square, tickets on Quicket. I run the show every day until the 29th of April. So we're on tonight, we're on the whole weekend, and then next week until Saturday.
What should we not expect from your brand new show?
Not expect? My previous show was a story that went from beginning to end.
Yeah.
This one is less that, and it's more, there's a consistent theme.
Yeah.
And the consistent theme is popular culture, but it's not like as blatant. It's not, how do I explain? It's the themes pop up. And because what I realize is that sometimes I've tried to push my feeling of a show onto the audience, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Sure.
I like to, now what I do is I talk about things that pertain to the theme of the show, and people pick up what they want from it, instead of me sort of like, not spoon feeding, but projecting how they should receive it. So don't expect a story, don't expect a reoccurring theme, and tons of laughter. I think what I'm happy about the most is that all the bits,
People are laughing.
yeah, all the bits work from beginning to end. So when I walk on stage until I leave, all the bits where I'm expecting a laugh are there. And so for me, that's a big plus.
Loyiso Gola, brand new show, Theatre on the Square. Tickets available at Cricket. Go check it out. If you need a good laugh, you need to escape. You need to think a little, because this man gets you thinking also. Loyiso Gola. Loyiso Gola is leaving the building.
This is WAW. What a week.
What a week. This kid really kicks.
She does kick ass. She started modeling as a teenager, has worked with major beauty brands, and has over 2 million followers on Instagram alone. Let's not even talk YouTube. And that's all been done in under 3 decades. What are you doing with your life? Please give a warm welcome to Mihlali Ndamase. But listen, because she's also going to be making my face up, we're going to actually move this interview to our makeup room because we want to get cozy. Really cozy.
This is
What a week.
What a week. This kid really kicks.
Welcome to Wow, What a Week, hashtag This Kid Really Kicks Ass. This is where we speak to young Africans that we feel kick ass and should inspire you if they don't inspire you already. She is possibly the ambassador for Kokstad to the rest of the world. Please welcome Mihlali Ndamase.
Hello.
Hello, you. How are you doing?
I'm good.
When I first met and interviewed you, you were probably 22, 23.
Yes.
You came to Metro FM and your star was rising. Little did we know that you'd be the star you are now. Tell us about the past 4 years, 5 years. What has transformed in terms of the woman you're becoming and the star you're becoming?
A lot has changed.
Yeah.
I think generally my career has grown significantly. I first started off filming tutorials in my bedroom and spending a lot of time working at home.
Yeah.
And now I spend a lot of time on the road as well, traveling for gigs, making appearances, collaborating with brands. And yeah, so a lot has changed and I'm also just growing. I'm trying to grow more into the entrepreneurship space. I want to work myself and create something that's going to live beyond me.
Sure.
So that's pretty much what's changed.
When last were you in Kokstad?
I was last there in December.
Okay.
Yeah, Jan actually.
So you're appointed, just for the day, a Minister of Tourism in Kokstad. Where do you take me?
The McDonald's around you. Okay, no, I'm joking. There's a golf club for
Okay.
future golfing.
Okay.
We can go to the museum, Adam Koch Museum. We can hike a mountain. There's a mountain. What else can we do?
Okay, so we spent,
There's not much to
so
do.
3 hours done. What do I do the rest of the day in Kokstad?
Or sleep, one eats and relax and enjoy the peace.
Yes. Now, but you were shipped off to boarding school. How did that feel? Let
That sounds horrible.
Let me tell you why I'm asking you that. Because I was shipped off to boarding school when I was 12. And I almost felt like I was being thrown away. Like, I'm a child. Why are you sending me away to live with other smelly boys that I don't even know? How did you feel being shipped off to boarding school?
I didn't mind at all. I think I was genuinely a very independent child growing up. Like I loved the idea of growing and being grown,
Yes.
and being able to make decisions for myself. So I was very excited. I went to an all-girls school, which was quite an experience. So I really wasn't anxious. I only cried on the last day of school though when I realized that, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But when I got there, I was absolutely fine.
As you were crying, what's the one thing you were thinking? I want to miss this the most.
Just the being familiar with people, like meeting new people makes me very anxious. I'm not the biggest social butterfly. I keep to myself a lot. I only warm up to people once I know them.
Yeah.
So the idea of making new friends in a new environment was kind of scary.
Would you send your daughter to boarding school?
100%. I feel like it's very necessary.
And the benefits of going to an all-girls school, because many argue that people that go to all-boys schools or girls schools often unlearn how to socialize with opposite sex. Would you say going to a girls' school affected how you relate to the opposite sex?
No, that's not 100% true because there's sports festival thing.
And you have a brother school also.
There's a brother
apparently.
school.
Yeah.
We used to have chapel. Every Sunday we'd have chapel with our brother school, which was St. Charles. So we
Were you allowed to hug? Or did you hug and make space for Jesus?
No, we
with the
couldn't
boys?
hug, but I mean, the teachers would stand around and watch how we interact with the boys. But I understand how it affects some girls. I don't even think it makes them socially awkward. I think it just makes some people really crave being around the opposite sex because there were girls in my boarding who snuck boys into the boarding
You are kidding.
house. I promise.
And you were never one of them?
No, I wasn't. I really was not that excited by men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you're 14, and obviously you are pretty, you look good, you're easy on the eye. Then you start modeling. How did that happen?
So a lot of people from a very young age, people would say to my mom and to my aunts that this
Yeah.
child needs to model. She has so much personality. She's so beautiful. So when I went to...
Were you self-aware, or when did you become self-aware that you looked in the mirror and you're like, oh, okay, you don't look too bad, girl?
I was very insecure actually in high school. I didn't see the beauty that other people saw, but I was very confident in what I do. So I'm the kind of person who likes to perfect whatever it is that I'm doing. So the modeling competitions, I used to ace that. I won, I think, about 3 awards.
Jeez, okay.
So
So you're Miss what?
no, they'd have like the best model,
Ah, yes.
best walk, best pose, things like that. So yeah, I made sure that I was very good at that. But in terms of just feeling like, oh, you're so beautiful, I don't recall feeling that much in high school.
First guy to convince you that maybe let me give him a chance. Do you remember how old you were?
Mom, if you're watching this.
Mom, I promise it was just a kiss.
How old was I? I was in, oh my God, and I got so heartbroken. I was in grade 8.
Yeah.
No, I was in grade 9.
Okay.
I was in grade 9 when
So was he from your brother's school?
No, it wasn't my brother's school. I met him. There was this Pietermaritzburg College. Ooh, those boys are dangerous. Stay away from them. I met him at a rugby game.
Okay.
No, actually, it was like a whole sports tournament, and he was captain of the basketball team.
Ah, so you went for the top jock.
Of course. I always won the best.
So how did you break your heart?
Oh, he cheated on me with a girl in matric at my school.
But did you understand that she's older and possibly more experienced?
I did understand, and I obviously couldn't give him what I want.
Well, what he wanted. Yeah.
Sorry, at that age. So, I mean, at the time I didn't understand, but looking back, I'm actually like, you know what, you saved me. Rather than, being coerced or whatever.
What do you say to young girls under pressure to give it up?
Don't.
And increasingly we're finding out that, girls are falling pregnant even at the age of 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
So what do you say to a girl who's under pressure to give it up?
Firstly, that's rape. It's coercion. Do not do that. I feel like if you're going to give away that part of yourself, you need to be ready. You never ever want to look back and regret the experience. It needs to feel right at the time. Nobody should ever put you under pressure. And if anyone is, then just walk away. It's not worth it.
You know, it's wild. It's actually wild. Last week was the 35th anniversary of my first time with my girlfriend. It was both our first times.
Really?
And we were both in grade 10. And I was thinking about the other days, like,
Oh my gosh, that's young.
I know, we were 15. And I look back, it's like, what were we doing? What were we doing?
But boys always lose their virginity very early.
No. I know boys that waited. That waited, and they don't regret waiting. But anyway, so you finished school, but obviously you're doing the modeling and everything else. When do you earn your first paycheck, and how much was it?
I earned my first paycheck in 2016 after I started a YouTube channel. So I collaborated with a beauty powerhouse or company that was bringing down a makeup brand from the States.
Okay.
So they wanted me to be the lead makeup artist for the brand. And
Yeah.
my first paycheck was 7,000 Rand.
How old were you?
How old was I in 2016? I think I was in 20 or 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you blow it?
I don't even remember. I really don't remember.
Yeah. So we're here now with your career. You're in an elevator, 5-year-old girl. Mihlali, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living?
I'm in digital marketing. I'm an influencer.
I'm 5 years old, remember?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
5 years old. Okay. Jeez. I connect people to brands.
Okay.
I advertise brands for people online. On
Okay.
social media. I'm sure 5-year-olds know what that is. Yeah.
Because a lot of people, unfortunately, think because they look good and they're successful, it has to do with their looks and nothing else. And you get that a lot.
Yeah,
In fact, a lot of you get that a lot. And a lot of you also have to deal with, there's no way she's this successful without a man involved.
Yes.
How do you navigate those murky waters?
You know what? I like to let my work speak for itself because the reality is anybody who is aware of how the marketing space works
Sure.
knows that there's admin involved, there's brand managers involved, there's clients involved, there's agency involved.
Sure.
I mean, yes, you can gain an audience online by being beautiful, but you can't build and maintain a successful brand just from your looks.
With
You also
zero
need
talent.
to have a brain. You have to
Yes.
have talent.
Yeah.
You need to have a team that represents you. So I think people also just do that to try. They have like this obsession with humbling beautiful women online. So they really just do that to discredit and try humble me. And it doesn't get to me. It's fine. I know my way.
I first interviewed you about 5 years ago. I think you were 22-ish.
Yeah, 21, 22.
Yeah, you're 21, 22 when I interviewed you. And one of the reasons we interviewed you is because we saw your traction already on social media. We saw your traction already on YouTube. You know, you're one of the first South Africans to monetize on YouTube. And unfortunately, your average person does not understand that you can make a ton of money on YouTube alone.
Yeah.
Like
Not a
ton.
ton.
Well, not a ton, but enough to sustain
Yes, you can.
having, you know, your own lifestyle.
Yes, 100%. You can pay your rent with YouTube money
Yeah.
and have change.
So what do we say to those people that keep saying, yeah, no, there's no way she's...
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, do people think that when there's paid partnership on Instagram, I'm just lying and I'm doing for fun?
You know what I mean? And you're working with big... I mean, don't you have a partnership right now with one of the big makeup brands?
I do. So I work with quite a few brands, but I don't have a long-term partnership at the moment. So a lot of clients just give you work and then they renew contracts as we go. So yeah, I have clients that I work with. I work with quite a few brands. I have Beauty and the Beat masterclasses. I have Malachite, which is a beauty specialist platform. And I have YouTube. So yeah, I do work.
So I've never monetized my social media. I am young. I am driven. Where do I start?
It's important to sort of identify your niche on social media, see where you want to position yourself, the kind of audience that you want to relate to your brand.
Okay.
And you have to start off by creating content. Just like any other job, you need some sort of profile, some sort of CV, and that's going to be online for you, showing your work, buying the brands that you want to work with. You have to start like that and tag them until
fake it until you make
yourself
it.
to them.
Yes.
Like how I got my first brand deal, I had to film a review for that brand. They weren't paying me.
Sure.
And they were like, oh, we just came across your video. I was like, oh, finally.
Somebody saw.
So you really have to put yourself out there. Collaboration is also very important, and not a lot of people speak about that. Reach out to people. Don't be afraid. Hit up. There's so many other content creators in the country. You don't have to go for the people with like 5 million followers and then get discouraged if they're not available. But collaborate with anyone, even if they have 10K followers, because you, at the end of the day, you're going to be tapping into a new market and exposing yourself to a new audience.
How important is the consistency? Because a lot of people come onto social media, they see that, oh, it's only 5 comments, and next week it's only 2 comments. Next week there's no comment. The following week might be 50 comments. But a lot of people eventually almost taper it down and then stop. What kept you going?
What kept me going is the fact that I wanted money. But also, even outside of money, the passion for what I do. I really love my job. I love the beauty space. And I also had to prove to myself, not only to myself, but all the people who doubted me when I started, that I can do this and I'm going to be good at this and I'm going to be successful at this. So that's what kept me going. And consistency is very, very important. I mean, it's a very fast-paced growing industry. It's becoming saturated. Not to say that there's not enough space for people. There's a huge pie we can all eat. But if you're consistent, you grasp your audience's attention and you also retain it. So you need to constantly be uploading. I mean, how often when you open Instagram and you refresh this new post?
Yes.
So if you're just posting today and then you go MIA for 3 weeks, people are going to forget about you. You're not going to be at the top of the feed. You know, the algorithm also comes into play. So it's important that you are consistent.
So like they say, you keep at it until something happens.
Yes, 100%. You just got to keep pushing.
Ever wanted to give up? Ever wanted to prove them
100%.
right that you're going to fail?
I wanted to give up when I felt like I don't have privacy anymore.
Oh yes, there's also that
For
part.
me, that was very overwhelming. That's the one thing I don't like about my job. There's no privacy at all.
When was that moment that you realized that, oh shit, my privacy is out the window? Was there a moment?
I think just things like, for example, trying to keep a relationship private and now it's on social media. Going to the mall. Sometimes you just want to go to the mall looking like, excuse my language, a bum and just get toiletries.
But bums are nice though.
But, okay, valid. But you know what I mean? You just want to go to the mall just looking J or whatever.
Yes.
And then someone will be like, oh, hi, Mihlali. Or you catch someone doing this, like trying to sneak in a video, and it's just like, oh my God, leave me alone.
There goes my privacy.
So yeah, things like that.
If you were anonymous, what's the one thing you try and get away with? It could be nice, it could be naughty, it could be innocent. Yeah, if nobody knew you.
Jeez, what would I want to get away with? Oh wow, a heist.
Oh, okay.
Guys, don't judge me, but I mean, don't you find that exciting? I'm obsessed with money heist, by the way. This is where it comes from.
Okay.
I think that this is a bit dark, but there's something about movies about criminals like succeeding that sort of excites me.
Yes.
Obviously, in the real world, crime is not good. Do not do crime. You're gonna risk your life. But
there's something about the underdog.
yeah,
There's always something about the underdog.
Yes. So I'm always just like, if I could get away with the heist, and have like a crew of people where we strategize, that would be so exciting.
You bought Mama a car.
Yes.
Why?
So basically, my mom at the time was going through a rough patch.
Sure.
And you know what? She is a very hardworking woman, very successful businesswoman. But after the recession hit, obviously it impacted a lot of lives. So I just wanted to make her life a little bit easier. She did have a car at the time, but she wasn't satisfied with the car she had. And I remember specifically being home for a holiday, and we were at a garage. We stopped to pour gas. And she was like, yo, my child, if ever you want to spoil me, that's my dream car.
Oh, flip, okay.
And I was like, okay, cool, noted.
So you're like...
And yeah, and then there was a time I was driving home from a meeting and I passed the Land Rover dealership, slash Jaguar. I was like, okay, let me just make a U-turn and go get a quote. I was like, let me just try and see.
What's the worst that could happen?
So I called her and I was like, Mom, Jaguar wants to make me an ambassador. If you were me, what car would you get and what color? And then she's listed the specs, white, this, that. And I was like, guy, take notes.
Yes.
And then, I just wanted to spoil her.
How did that feel? Because for a lot of especially black kids, you want to build your folks a house, get them a car,
100%.
give them a life that they possibly deserved, but circumstances denied them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It felt amazing. Our parents sacrificed so much for us. And also, I feel like outside of making myself proud, there's nothing that feels better than making your parents proud. Because at the end of the day, every single parent wishes well for their child. So, seeing her dreams for me and me growing into the woman that she probably wanted me to be, I had to do something just to be like, thank you as well for everything that you've done for me, being my biggest support system, trusting me with this crazy decision of going into beauty, being my soundboard, being my protector. So, yeah, it felt really good.
Do you get advice from her about dating and life stuff?
Everything. My mom's my best friend. We talk if she goes 2 days without talking to me, she'll be like, out too.
What advice has she given you
Yeah.
that you're like, oh, wow, she's just like my girl right now?
You know what? I love my mom because I never feel judged by her. So even in moments where I know that obviously I'm not making her 100% proud, I can be vulnerable enough to still go to her for advice and be like, Ish, mom, I know this is not great, but what can I do about the situation that I'm in, So she's that kind of parent. She literally is like my best friend. And also, I think the best advice I've ever gotten from her in general, especially now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing the importance of praying and having some sort of spirituality because it keeps you grounded, So, yeah, that's honestly the best advice I've gotten.
Does she have access to social media?
She has.
And how does she feel about how you often get attacked on social media?
She hates it. If my mom could go to each person's house and shoot them, she probably would. Honestly, if she were John Wick, all my trolls would be dead.
So what kind of conversations do you have with her, though?
Yeah.
When you're trending for whatever reasons?
I have to calm her down most of the time because she'll always call me and she'll be like, are you okay? And I'll be like, Mom, I'm fine. Because very often I don't read these things and I always tell her, do not read it. Like I'll see that I'm trending. I go in.
So you protect your peace by not going in.
I'd rather not read because now when you read it, as a human being, naturally we have feelings. You also get irritated and now you want to respond and you give them the satisfaction of knowing that they got to you. So that's why I don't even read it. I'll put my phone away when I'm trending and I'm like, okay, let me make myself happy or watch a movie or something. And she'll call me frustrated. Did you see what this person said? And I'll be like, Mom, don't read it. Do not. And I even tell people, like even my friends, don't send me anything. I don't want to see it. Don't send me screenshots. Don't tag me in nonsense.
I always say your true friends will know not to send you anything that would
100%.
disturb your peace.
100%.
Because there's nothing that says you're a friend
Yeah.
when you send me something on look what they're saying about you.
Yeah, no, honestly.
Like, what makes you think I want to see the negative things they're saying about me?
Exactly.
What have you read that did hurt, that said, I'm not going back there ever again?
Well, not about myself. I just hated when people speak about my family. Like, don't drag my family into it. They have absolutely nothing to do with being in the public eye. They didn't sign up for this. So that's what really rubbed me the wrong way, is when they start talking about my family and sort of like questioning my upbringing. Did she turn up this way because she was raised by this kind of woman? Like, no, I'm grown. I make my own decisions. I have a mind of my own, you know. So, yeah, to see my family out of it, that pisses me off.
We're going to play a game. It's called What Would Mihlali Do?
All right.
Yeah.
Let's play.
A guy likes you, wants to date you, ticks every box, but is in between jobs. What would Mihlali
What do you mean in between jobs?
He's unemployed. What would Mihlali do? He ticks every box, but he's in between jobs, and he looks inspired and driven.
Okay. How old are we?
He is 35.
I'm gay. Okay. I don't know, because I've dated someone who wasn't working, but he had just graduated.
And how did that turn out?
I mean, it didn't last because he wasn't a good person. It wasn't about him not working, you know? Because, I mean, I didn't expect him to look after me. So that was fine. I don't know. I think it depends what phase I'm at in life. I don't know. I'm not keen on... you know what the problem is with unemployed men? Their egos are very fragile. Especially when you are a working woman. He's going to be insecure. Now we're going to be fighting about, oh, my video editor is a man and he's at my house till 10 p.m. because he has to edit a YouTube video. Things like that. And I'm not in the... I don't have time to be managing ego a week. So no, I wouldn't.
What if he ticks the box that says he's still confident, doesn't have a fragile ego? How important is it in helping a partner...
Yes.
not only manage expectations, but also feel secure? Because you're in an industry where you will deal with a lot of men.
Yes.
How important is it in keeping your partner, in a peace of mind, state of mind?
It's very important, and I definitely try my best to play my part, and I will. I think I'm a great communicator in a relationship.
Sure.
And I'm a very loyal person, and it's something that's easy to see when you're with me. That's only so much that you can do, you know. If someone still doubts you after that, then it's never gonna work, you know. So yeah, I try my best.
What would Mihlali do? It's 2024, it's election time. 18-year-old young lady says, Mihlali, I look up to you. Which party should I vote for? What would Mihlali do?
What are these questions? What are these questions? I would say don't vote.
Why?
I don't want to answer these questions.
You don't like this game anymore.
I gotta be like, what would you do? Like, drink water or Coke.
So give them three options. Or not.
Jeez, I don't know.
Or would you say let's have a drink
year
and
is
talk
it?
about it?
2022.
2024, next year.
2024. Let's do our research and, compare the pros and cons of voting for each party, and then you'll make a decision from there, because you're your own human being and we are free.
What would Mihlali do? There's an item in a store that you see, but you can tell that this price tag is wrong. This should be 3 times what the price tag says. What does Mihlali do? Does she buy it anyway, or does she say to them, but guys, you mispriced this?
I would ask if are they sure about the price. Yeah, I would ask.
So you wouldn't see it as a
steal?
Yeah.
No. I'm not, guys. I can't do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What would Mihlali do? A gossip columnist parks their car and runs off to buy something quickly. And then a tow car comes to tow the car because it's parked illegally. What would Mihlali do?
Is it a negative gossip?
And gossip is gossip.
I would allow them to tow the car. I'd probably even take a video to post it on my stories.
So are you a vengeful person?
I'm not a vengeful person, but I mean, Karma is every address. So if you're out there talking negative about people, your day's coming.
Okay, so if karma is visiting you on some, that's
I'm
the
not gonna
door.
stop it.
That's the door.
Yeah,
No,
I'll even give them directions. Turn left, go straight. 2 minutes ahead, park.
What did Mihlali do? A guy ticks all the boxes, but he's 10 years older.
Date him.
Uh-huh. He's 10 years younger. Or 5 years younger.
No.
2 years younger.
Yeah, I could date. No.
What is it about dating outside the age bracket that appeals to you?
Like older.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just prefer older men. I'm not saying too old, but generally I just prefer an older partner. I've never dated a younger guy, but I've definitely dated someone my age. Also, my age, I'm currently 26. If I'm dating someone 10 years younger,
That's why I said 5.
I'm going to get arrested.
That's why I moved it to 5 very fast.
I think when you are older, if I was in my 30s, it's easier to date someone who is 5 years younger because you're still in the same phase of life.
Yes.
At this age, I'm dating a 21-year-old. I'm going to be driving to work. He's going to campus.
He's telling you the oros is finished. It's like, hey, Mimi, the oros is finished. Don't forget the oros.
Oros better give me a campaign so my baby can have Oros.
In fact, speaking of oros, what are some of your childhood pleasures that you have not shed? Like stuff you did as a child or that you ate as a child or drank as a child. What are you still hanging on to?
What am I still hanging on to? I think... Okay, geez, let me think.
Is oros a red flag in a relationship?
No, I love Oros. I believe in Oros.
You've just ticked one of my boxes.
I had Oros before coming here this morning.
I have oros every single day.
Amazing.
Yo. Hey, Oros, here's your next ambassador.
Hi.
Oros.
What is some of my childhood? I don't know.
Like your childhood guilty pleasures. Like for me, it was Toffolax, for instance. Like I almost had a packet of Toffolax every single day. And that's why I've got fillings everywhere because my teeth literally
Jeez.
were like a toffee.
Guys, what was really exciting? Every Sunday we'd go to Wimpy after church.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I still love
So
Wimpy.
you guys were loaded, Mus.
Stop it.
You were like white folk,
We
rich.
were not.
We were celebrating F chicken and rice. Oh,
So yeah, that I still love Wimpy.
yeah. Would you have kids? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to
100%.
start a family?
And I really want kids. I will have kids, but not now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can wait a very long time before having children.
Dude, you've been on a journey already from the age of 14. What's next on this journey? Because you keep knocking the ball out the park. You keep knocking the ball. They keep pushing you. You keep saying, I'm not falling. I'm
Never.
moving.
I'm standing forever.
You're almost like a spring that each time they push you, you're just loading up, and then you come back out.
There's a lot more to come
Yeah.
in terms of what I want to do. I think this year is going to be the year where I'll be launching my own businesses, quite a few of them.
Sure.
So yeah, that's what people can look forward to. You guys will be wearing and using things that are associated with my brand.
What, thongs for men?
Oh, wow. I can look into that.
If you're going to send me samples, I prefer line in luminous green. Please.
Okay.
Yes. So Mihlali
you.
thongs for men in
What
lumo
size?
green. It'll be the fresh edition.
Yeah. We can collaborate on that.
Let's actually collaborate on it.
Oh, my word.
Fresh and Mimi.
You are
the
literally
thongs for
putting
men.
a picture of yourself in people's mind with a thong on.
You know that myself and Fat Joe did a strip show for our listeners at YFM, and we were in luminous green thongs.
How was the views? I'm sure they were crazy.
Well, one, there was no social media, thank God. But yeah, the club was packed. It was actually quite a show.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know if I'd ever get into a green thong again, not in public.
Okay.
Like, not in public. Thank you very much. You bought a new car the other day.
Yeah.
Why did you go with that car? Firstly, why did you go with that car? And was it also to shut people the fuck up?
No, it wasn't to shut people up. As we all know, purchasing any car or house or whatever, it's a process.
Sure.
So I started shopping in September last year.
Okay.
So I didn't do it for people. I just wanted a new car and I was due for a new car. Why did I go for that car? I'm obsessed with Mercedes. I'm a firm believer of the brand.
No, they make dope cars.
Your comfortable drive,
Yes.
very innovative. I love their brand.
In fact, most people that, growing up at Wimpy on Sundays drive Mercs.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, and I love the color. I wanted an SUV.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with the car.
Space for kids one day.
Hopefully by the time I have kids, I'll be driving a Bentley.
Yeah? Do you know what you need to come up with? A range of makeup for men. Because increasingly men are taking time to look good.
Yeah. Someone's actually suggested that to me before.
You're welcome.
I'll definitely think about it.
Because we're at an age where in other countries, I look at East Africa, for instance, where a lot of women are becoming millionaires overnight because they're coming up with products and merchandise that allows people to support them. And you've got a massive support base. Like, why are you not monetizing the support base?
100%. But then also, I think a lot of men need to move away from the fear of wearing makeup before I can launch a brand. Because sometimes
you could start it.
True.
Yeah.
And start the movement. Sometimes when you have interviews and there's like a male who's in the beauty room, they'll be like, not too much,
And you could start with me, because if you can fix this face, you can fix any face.
I think you have a great face.
Got a great face. Mihlali, we are out of time, unfortunately. But wanted to hang out with you because I've been watching your career for the last 5-6 years, and I see the growth, I see the movement. And one of the reasons we interviewed you at Metro at the time was because we could see your trajectory and where you were going. That's why I needed to speak to you again, just to remind you that we see your work, we see the progress, we see the resistance, but we see how you are keeping it moving. And I think a lot of us could learn from that. That there'll be a lot of shit thrown at you, but you don't have to stop and smell the shit.
100%.
Just keep it moving. Where do we find you on social media?
Instagram at Mihlali, _N_. TikTok, Mihlali N. YouTube, Mihlali N with one I. Mihlali N everywhere. And then Mihlali Ndamase on Facebook.
Mihlali, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're an inspiration, and if you're in between jobs, please don't hit her up.
I can help you find a job, maybe.
Or you could offer to be the model for her range of makeup for men.
See?
So that is a plan. Thank you very much, Mihlali.
Thank you.
And that's it for our this week's edition of Wow, What a Week. It's been quite a journey. And we decided to use our makeup room because she's going to make up my face after this to see if she can fix this. No offense, Mom or Dad. You guys did a great job, but she will finish off the job.
This is Wow! What a week.
What a week.
Shout out to AMP Studios, Africa Podcast Network. Pezulu works for our cinematography, our audio engineer, Otis the Flow Fraser. Shout out to our executive director, creative director, Kuvesh Mohan, and the show producer, Kelezo Mudisakeng. Email us at waw@africapodcastnetwork.com. Have a great week, in spite of yourselves.